behalf of BCB Bank, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. BCB is a proud supporter of the Historical Society. I think this is a great event to raise awareness of what we're doing here. As you look around the building or inside here, you'll see plenty of old photos, and I think it's great to always keep the history in mind. There's a lot of changes in towns, and a lot of people don't really understand, what took place many years ago, and I'm, very happy that BCB can support this and provide this space for people to come in and see what Union was like in the day. So thank you, everyone, for coming. And I'd like to thank Marie McGuire, who that's right. They're doing double duty. I don't know, some of you might have been here on Saturday for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're a little different bank. I think we provide booze, not dollars. That you guys, if you've been here, you know what's going on. But without further ado, I'd like to turn over the meeting to David Arminio, who will be the master of ceremonies and will lead us through the event. So thank you for joining us, and enjoy the evening.
I don't know if Mike Shiner wants me to mention this, but he wrestled for Roselle Park when I was coaching wrestling at Union High School with Al Lilly. Unfortunately, they always beat our butts all the time. But where did he disappear to? There he is over there. But thank you very much, Mike, for allowing the Historical Society to use this space. I do have to say, I know he's going to talk later on, but Mr. Russo is the one who kept the whip to my back saying, David, do this, David, do this, David, do this. And you can't say no to Anthony Russo. So I would like to start the program by calling up our mayor, Mr. James Bowser, to say a few words about Union.
Before I do that, I'd just like to introduce other members of the Township Committee. We have Deputy Mayor Joseph Florio.
Hey, everybody.
We have Committeewoman Sandra Terrell.
Hi, guys.
And Patty Garrett Frazier. Good evening, everyone. It's really great to see so many faces here today. Some are new and some we've seen before, but again, great for coming out. Thank you for coming out. On behalf of the Township of Union and the Township Committee, I thank everyone tonight as we gather for this momentous occasion, one that serves as a prelude to an extraordinary chapter in our nation's history. As we embark on the journey towards America's 250th anniversary in 2026, it's with great pride that the Township of Union Historical Society, and the 250th Committee present their first official event. Thank you to all the members, especially the Union Historical Society. Your dedication and hard work and passion have made tonight possible. It is your commitment to preserving and celebrating our rich history that helps us all understand not just where we come from, but also where we are headed. Today's historical photo showcase we will unveil at the BCB Bank today is not merely an event. It is a heartfelt tribute to our past, a reflection of our present, and a beacon guiding us toward the future. It allows us to reconnect with the stories and memories that shape our beloved community, and not by extension, but by our great nation. As we walk through the showcase of extraordinary photographs, we are reminded of the resilient spirit of our community, the dreams of those who came before us, and the enduring values that bind us together. Each image tells a story, capturing moments of hardship, triumph, unity, and progress, and remind us of our collective journey. As we look ahead to the 250th anniversary, let us honor the legacies of those who laid the foundation for our future. Let us take this inspiration from our past to forge a stronger, more inclusive community. Together, we will ensure that the stories of our community forebearers continue to resonate and inspire generations to come. Thank you again to the Union Historical Society, the BBC Bank, for their hosting this incredible event. I hope everyone here and those watching at home join us for our next event as we continue to reflect and celebrate our history. Here's to the journey that lays ahead for the 250th. Thank you.
Over in the back corner over there by where the tellers are is a poster with 10 houses. And those 10 houses are basically what remains of 18th century houses in Union. Now, our goal tonight is there are a number of different objectives for tonight. But I think number one is to recall and to recognize the historical significance of Union. From 1667, when it was Connecticut Farms, all the way on to 2025. But take a look at those pictures, because those are 10 of the pictures 10 of the houses that remain in Union from the 18th century. 5 of those houses are on Kane University property. The most popular is Liberty Hall, but there are 4 others. Take a look at those pictures and see what remains of Union from a long time ago. And at this time, I'd like to call up Michelle Delisfort, one of the county commissioners, and I know she's here, and I saw her sneaking up behind, and a person who has been a long time person in Union. And of course, let's introduce Michelle.
Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. Thank you so much. This is a wonderful occasion. I just want to take a moment to introduce my fellow commissioner, Al Mirabella. We are so happy to be here to enjoy this momentous occasion. I'll say this, as somebody who grew up in the Township of Union for, I'm not going to tell my age, but let's just say, a little over 50 years, right? I am really amazed by the presentation of the photographs. Just seeing, what Springfield Road looked like and what Morris Avenue looks like, and even the site next door, the municipal building, is amazing. As an urban planner, I'll say this. Most municipalities have 3 things that they aspire to do. They either want to remain the same, they want to grow, or they want to downsize. Union has done a phenomenal job in slowly but surely transitioning over the years, but maintaining its essential character, and that's something that's really hard to do. And not only has it done that, but it's managed to become very diverse and have a lot of collaborations within community. And so today I stand before you as a very proud Union resident, in addition to county commissioner, just to say that our school systems and our communities and our neighborhoods are a reflection of what our town and our neighbors want to see. And so it's really nice to see the past and the present, and I'm looking forward to the collaborations that will form. I'll also say this about BCB Bank. They are wonderful partners. They're great community partners. They provide so many opportunities for those who may not have the investment portfolios to purchase homes to, in fact, buy homes here, start businesses. They've helped entrepreneurs grow their businesses, and they're just really good partners. So I want to give a shout out to them, if you'd mind just giving them a and also the Historical Society. They have documented our history, which is so important. A lot of places that you go to, it's really hard to find the information that you're showing now. And, you know, they always say it's important to know where you come from in order to understand where you're going. And so this presentation, again, it's an illustration of our past, and it tells us where we're going, not just in a silo, but as a community. So thank you all for coming, and again, congratulations. This is great.
If you look over to my left, where Donnie is, there's a poster over there which tells about the Battle of Connecticut Farms, which is, I hope everyone in here knows about the Battle of Connecticut Farms, and if you don't, go over and read that, because there'll be a test later on. Before you leave, or before you can get any food, you have to be able to pass that test. But it tells about, very briefly, the Battle of Connecticut Farms, which is an important point, an important part of the history of this area and of Union. And if I can, who can add to that, I know, because he's interested in the history of Union, is our Senator, Joe Cryan.
I will say that's the first intro I've had to the Battle of Connecticut Farms. So I want to say thanks a lot. And the reality of it is, as David was talking, not only would I encourage you to look at that, but if you have that opportunity, you know, one of the traditions of Union, as we look at today, is the Memorial Day Parade. Right? It separates us from many other communities in the fact that we still march and we still remember. And we often have the opportunity of sharing the reenactment of some of the battle right afterwards, as the parade concludes. And I would encourage you this Memorial Day, if you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please join us as you do that and you remember a little bit. And quite frankly, you get a real sense of history along the way. And in addition to that, the Memorial Day Parade is something really, truly special as part of the township. I want to thank Marie and everybody at BCB. Marie, your hospitality this week's been amazing. All right? There were a lot of corned beef went through here on Saturday, folks, I will tell you that, and a few other. It's always cool when the bank teller is also your bartender. All right? And we had that experience on Saturday, and it was truly amazing. But I think it goes to the C part of BCB, community. And tonight is another example of that. You bring community together, you understand what's important. Thank you very, very much. Let's give it up for BCB. I mean, they're really generous. Thank you. So I was teasing Anthony Russo when I was here earlier that was his car right over there, his first car. If you didn't get a chance, Anthony will take pictures with it with you if you want along the way as well. But as you look at the pictures, and I know one of the earlier speakers mentioned it, 10 houses left, 5 on the Kane property. But it's so important we treasure what we have. And to the members of the Historical Society who brought us together and brought this together, it allows us a chance to reflect on what we have had and, frankly, what's important, right? And Michelle mentioned it when she spoke. You know, you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. And the reality I'm not sure that the newest generation that's moved into Union has a true traditional understanding of the history of this community. And these things are so important that we share that and we reinvent it and we speak. The governing body hates me for a lot of different reasons, but one of them is because of the trolley picture. One of my little, dreams of Union is I would love to have a trolley up and down Morris Avenue, okay? All right? It's one of my little things. It's really expensive, but I would love to have it all the way to the Summit train station. So you could go from the Elizabeth train station to Summit and take a trolley. It would make us unique. It would also be efficient, all right? And they can talk about light rail all they want. A trolley would be awful cool, wouldn't it? And also help reinvigorate the center a little bit. And as you look at the pictures here, I think that's what we all want, right? A revitalized and an economically strong Union that continues to thrive. I would love to know if anybody here swam in the swimming pond back there. All right, anybody see those pictures yet? Right? In the Elizabeth River, Joanne Rajapi, she said this is the first time she wore a bikini when she jumped in the Elizabeth River. She was just telling me that a couple minutes ago. And then, and the race car. Do you guys see this stuff back here yet? Iorio Court? If you're not sure where Milltown Road is, where Restaurant Depot is, that area used to be a speedway. And if you get a chance, jump past the mic and make sure you take a look. And you'll see that when you enjoy some of the great food. I've spoken too long, but this is really just another very special community event. Thanks to everybody who brought us together tonight. Most importantly, thank you. And I do have an ask. Share the story. Right? Talk to somebody new over the next 24, 48 hours. And hey, I saw a picture of the trolley. Did you know you have a bonehead senator who wants a trolley? But whatever you take away from this, share it. There's post office stories here. There's all sorts of things that give us a chance to remember why we live in one of the most special places in America, the Township of Union. Thanks, everybody.
And I agree. I think number one on why we're here today is because it's Union. And for those who grew up in Union and live in Union, I know I love Union. And when I pass away, and my wife keeps yelling at me about it, because I want to be my ashes thrown in the Kwame Swamp. But she doesn't like that idea. Right. Where is the George Washington poster that was right here? It's still here. If you didn't know, George Washington came to Union and he spent some time at Liberty Hall. And this explains why. He was coming back from New York after he was installed as president, inaugurated as president, and he came and met Martha at Liberty Hall. This explains it. This is the research that Michael Yusenko did years ago. And I don't know if most of you probably remember Michael Yusenko, especially if you lived or went to school in Union. But there's also another person who really knows the history of this area. She's written several books. She's also the county clerk, and most importantly, she's president of the Union County Historical Society. So, Joanne, if you'd come up.
Good evening, everyone. David, you forgot I'm the third generation Unionite, too. My family has been in Union a long time. I'm very happy to be here tonight. Just wanted to say a few words. First, kudos to the Township Historical Society. I know the officers and members of this organization. They're preserving and securing our historic sites and records, but most importantly, they're educating our young people about our history. And those efforts really extend beyond the local level because, as you know, this area was a very important player in the American Revolution. We made significant contributions to the cause, both through individuals like James and Hannah Caldwell, and the participation of the people who lived here in the militia. And the militia was very important and significant in the Battle of Connecticut Farms. Perhaps one of the most significant roles this society plays is their ability to make the past relevant to the present. Not easy to do. They do it through programs for local children, open house events, rotating exhibits, publications, and displays of collections, including their restored carriage house with period tools, which is great. And I know people have said this, but it's so important that without an understanding of history, we're doomed to repeat it. So the society, I think, has done an outstanding job of educating us to avoid that pitfall. I want to say kudos to the bank. I know they have a mission of investing in the community and support community-based causes and local education, and that includes the St. Patrick's Day event. Thank you very much. I thank you for recognizing the hard work that the Township Historical Society does. And I have to tell you, as the president of the Countywide Historical Society, I think this is the best one in the county.
The person who is responsible, directly responsible for all these pictures in this building. Mr. Russo called me up one day and said, David, I want you to put up pictures all over the bank at BCB. And you can't say no to Mr. Russo. So all of this is his fault. So, Mr. Russo, if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Dave. It's without a hesitation that I say to you, this is the finest bank in Union Township. And a million thanks to the manager of the bank, Marie. God bless you. I've had the good fortune of working with the Arminios during the past couple of months, and without them, I guess none of this could have happened. This man went crazy to gather all of these pictures. He's the vice president of our local organization, and his sister, Barbara, she's a big help to all of us. She's the president. In any event, Union Township has a rich history, and some of the speakers have indicated that to you. On June the 7th, 1780, 5,000 British soldiers got in their boats. They were stationed in Staten Island. They came across the bay, landed in Elizabeth, marched up what is now Morris Avenue to Colonial Avenue, the wooded area, through the path, what is now Colonial Avenue. They arrive on Chestnut Street. The Americans were informed of the fact that the British were coming. Eisenhower, oh my God. General Washington contacts one of his key generals, Maxwell. And Maxwell arrives in Union, down by the church, Connecticut Farms Church, where the cannon is, with his American brigade. They stopped the British. It was on the morning of June the 3rd, 1780. 57 British soldiers are buried in that cemetery, in a common grave. We ask ourselves, what would have happened if Maxwell did not defeat the British in Union, New Jersey? Maybe we would still be part of the British Empire. They were on their way to Morristown. They wanted to attack General Washington, who was stationed there with his troops. That was the headquarters. But to get to that area, that had to come through our area, and they were stopped. Thank God. 3 weeks later, they try it again. This time they're stopped on Morris Avenue at the Springfield line. It's now referred to as the famous Battle of Springfield. It's all part of our American history. And as Dave alluded to a few minutes ago, the Livingston House on Morris Avenue was a site that a nice occurrence occurred. Incidentally, that house was the home of the first governor of New Jersey, Livingston. That's another addition to our wonderful history. George Washington was sworn in September 1789 as the first president of the United States. The swearing-in ceremony occurred in New York City. His wife wasn't there, as they've told you. She wasn't there. It was too far for her to travel. There were no planes in those days and no trains and buses. It was horse and carriage. So she was not able to attend. Governor Livingston, who was a close friend of George Washington, invited Martha to come to his home in Union, New Jersey. She arrives. He didn't tell her what he had in mind. For those few days that she spent there, he also contacted George Washington and asked him to please come over and spend a few days there. George Washington arrives. He stays overnight. In the morning after breakfast, Martha's sitting in the main hall, and the door opens, and one of the aides says, "Mrs. Washington, I got a big surprise for you." And another door opens, and in walks George Washington. He says, "I want you to meet His Excellency, the President of the United States, George Washington." But what an honor. This all occurred in our town of Union, New Jersey. Big honor. Big honor. Now, for a minute, I talked to you about the college. That college was a cow pasture. Many of us can remember it as a cow pasture. Then there was a school in Newark called the Newark Normal School. Then it became the Newark State Teachers College. And they wanted to move to Union. They came up here with a very small enrollment, very small. And that was not a popular school. Must have been a couple of hundred students when they arrived in 1958. Today, we look at Kane College, now Kane University, as one of the leading institutions of its kind in the metropolitan area. So we got to be proud of all of this. And we're the former home of Ray Liotta, the famous movie actor. And we've had kids that went to our schools that played in Super Bowl football games, and other kids that played professional baseball with the Yankees and with the Mets and so forth. So I tell you all of that to instill in all of you the pride that most of us have for our beautiful, wonderful town of Union, New Jersey. To you, Dave, many thanks. Marie, thanks to you and your entire staff. You've been great, great. God bless you. We now refer to this bank as the home bank of Union, New Jersey. It's a people's bank.
Mr. Russo mentioned William Livingston as the first governor. And if you look right here, I'm sorry I'm not more technically savvy, but that will get you to the New Jersey Hall of Fame voting for 2025. And there's one person on that ballot that all of you should go and vote for William Livingston, who was a resident of Union because he lived at Liberty Hall. He was the first governor of New Jersey, and he was a patriot. If we get him into the Hall of Fame this year in 2025, it looks good for 2026, our semi-quincentennial, to get our objective, Hannah and James, into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. So go and vote for the New Jersey Hall of Fame. You can vote for all the other actors and actresses and singers and what's his name? That person on the ballot? I can't think. No, I forget his name. Anyway. Steve Edwards wrestled for me at Union High School.
Graduated with me in 1980.
Graduated in 1980. Yes, he is. I've been talking to him a lot and sticking pins in his rear end. Anyway, Dr. Benequista could not be here, and it looks like Dr. Rodriguez had to leave, but we have one of the members of the Board of Education here, so I'd like to call up Mr. Cohan for speaking for the Union schools. I know there are lots of pictures, even in this room, right in this office. There are a couple of pictures of Union schools, and there are a couple in the back. So Union schools, been around for a long time, and they're still going strong.
Well, thank you, Dave. You didn't tell everybody that you were a student in Connecticut Farms back in the... So, listen, on behalf of Dr. Benequista and our board president, Dixiana Carbonell, vice president, Kim Scott Hayden, I'm sorry. I'd just like to offer my thanks to the BCB Bank and to the Historical Society for the focus that you've given to the rich history of our township. When I was teaching in the school district many years ago, I taught many different subjects, but the years that I taught social studies and history to the students at Kiwami Middle School were the most fun for me. One of my colleagues once said to me, you know, you are really boring. And I said, why? Because you read nonfiction history for enjoyment. I said, I do, but you know what? It makes me a better teacher, and it makes me more well-informed about our country, our world, and our community. Someone asked me a couple of weeks ago about my hometown of Old Bridge, and I said, I don't know anything about Old Bridge, but ask me about Union. I know an awful lot about Union's history. I can assure you that my colleagues on the board and the district administration keep a focus on both our history and on the things that we have a responsibility to build for the future. I thank, again, the Historical Society for their support for our educational programs. I thank the bank for your support for our educational programs. And I look forward to our continuing work and the focus on the semi-quincentennial next year. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michael. Next door over here is a library that's soon to open. And the executive director of the library, Cassandra Miller, is here to tell us some of the secrets of the library. So, Cassandra, would you tell us about something that's going to make Union, there are libraries. I went to a library meeting of Friends of the Library for the whole county, and they were drooling to have a meeting here. They want me to set up a meeting so all of the friends could be here at this library so they could see it. And I said, well, maybe.
Thank you. This is a really nice event. I didn't know what to expect when you invited me, so thank you. And good evening. I'm honored to be here representing the Union Public Library. And yes, that is a brand new library. We're going to have a lot of things. I'm not going to take the credit of designing the library. That was done before I started here. But the library was designed with a lot of things in mind, not just borrowing books. It's a space for learning. It's a place for gathering. There's going to be a sensory room, things like a fireplace, a patio, new technology, individual meeting spaces. There's going to be something for everyone. So get your library card, number one. Get that library card. But we will be better equipped to partner, to collaborate. So Historical Society, we will be doing a lot more things together. We're both here to preserve, give access, and I want to continue that, expand that, and again, everyone get your library cards. We are opening in the spring, so I hope everyone will be at the grand opening. And thank you all.
For those of us who are of an age, when the libraries in Union, even before this, the other one was built, down on Morris Avenue, down in the Townley section, there was a house. And that was one of the libraries. And it was, when we were like 8 years old, 9 years old, we'd walk to the library and walk in. It was a house, and they just had shelves and some books. And I remember going in and taking the books off, those blue books. What were those? The history books? Biographies. They were one of my favorites. They were blue and they were about 100 pages long. But this is going to be a little bit better than the house down on Morris Avenue.
One other pitch, I'm sorry. It's a proud day, right, for the town. Sandra Shy, all right? The library was designed by Potter Architects, right? Which, if anybody's driven on Potter Avenue, they know the Potter family has been part of Union for how long? Right? Literally a couple centuries, right? And they were the original. They were the designers, Potter Architects designed, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Right, you're
Right?
right.
The original library that's being replaced. So there's a continuum of history in the fact that the same architect who did the previous does this and is part of the Union family we're celebrating today for over 2 centuries. So it's a nice little segue, I think.
Right here in front of me to my left is a map that started this whole thing, and the culprit is right in front of me, David Vandevender. He wrote an article about an argument between two people of where the speedway was in Union. There were actually 2 speedways in Union. And if you want to know the exact location, you asked our official town historian, Tom Beisler, over there. Raise your hand, Tom, so everyone can come over and bother you. But we had 2 speedways, and the argument was, is the Union Speedway, was it on Springfield Road or Springfield Avenue? And if you look at this map, and it's a 1941 map, you look at it closely, and you'll find out that the Union Speedway was on Springfield Road, not Springfield Avenue. So take a look at that map. There's some really neat things from 1941. And if you come to the Caldwell Parsonage, we have maps that are even older than that. At this time, I'd like to call up, because we have some pictures in the back, so I think it would be appropriate to call up someone from the Union Fire Department. I think Mr. Joe Frayne is here to, right behind me, a retired fireman from Union for 31 years?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thank you for having me. So the Union Fire Department started in 1910. They had 9 volunteers, and their equipment was a wagon. So if you can imagine, in the winter time, 9 men taking their turns pushing a wagon to go to a call that had axes and buckets, because they didn't have any water back then. So when they got to a scene, they would pump water from the wells of the houses. They did progress into 1915, where they had a horse-drawn wagon, and they were able to help extinguish fires quicker that way. 1928, the first career chief was appointed. His name was Walter Bond. He was served for 20 years as a chief. The longest tenured chief is my chief in the back there, Chief Frederick A. Fretz, who served the town for 23 years. Very good man right there. Today, the Union Fire Department will use about 6,000 calls a year between medical, extrication, structure fires, and the firefighters are always training. They're always training. What about this? What about this? They're always constantly in the books, training, videos, etc. One point that I'm proud of is I have a friend of mine, first female firefighter in the history of Union, started in 2009. She's going to retire this year. Ashley Spriggs, great woman. Our second firefighter started in October 1st of 2023. She was a teacher. She came over, Megan Bowes. So in the fire service, they have something called campaign fires. That's when it's a big fire, and that's when you get the mayor and you get Mr. Travisano to come down and show them what's going on, so we can try to get him, cajole him into getting a new piece of equipment or whatever. But So some of the fires that stand out in my head are Maxine Fire over here on Stuyvesant Avenue, the A&P Fire, which was the last building before you went to Springfield on Morris Avenue, and the Rising Fire back in the mid-'80s. In closing, I'd like to say that we've only had 2 deaths related to the Union Fire Department, and we have a memorial in front of the Union Fire Department for Captain Dominic Ritordo and Deputy Chief Les Hendricks. I just want to mention them. All right. Thank you very much. God bless. Thank you.
And for those of you who didn't know, Bond Drive is right over here, and that was, I think, the first fire chief of Union. So Bond Drive is named after him. So just another historical fact for you to store away. And Fred, I don't know, does anyone call you by what we called you when we were growing up? I didn't know his real name. All I knew was it was Skippy. I really didn't know his real name. And Linda, is Linda around? Oh, there she is. She grew up like 5 houses away from where I grew up, so I am so glad to see them. And Fred has some great stories about Union's past. So as we finish up, we have a couple more speakers, and then there's food back here, so I'll tell you when you can go back, and it's great back there. I'm going to be the first one, so if you can beat me, good luck. At this time, I'd like to call up Captain Barry Cohen from the Union Police Department, because we do have a couple of nice police pictures. My favorite picture in this whole place is in the back room, and it's right in front of the temporary jail, with the police, with the fire department right behind it. And there's a number of students standing in front of the jail. And off to the side is this woman, and she's all by herself, and she looks haggard. And I didn't find out until just last year that who those people were, and that person who's standing off by herself, and you got to look at the picture, she is their teacher. And I think she brought them to the front of the jail to saying, if you don't behave, this is where you're going to end up. So,
Thank you, David. Good evening. My name is Captain Barry Cohen, Township of Union Police Department, and I'm honored to be here to present to you our history of the police department. We're the cornerstone, basically, and the well-being of the township. And our story started way back in February of 1910, when Daniel Bach, then the chairman of the police committee, reported the installation of the local lockup right here on township property on Stuyvesant Avenue. It was a modest beginning and the birth of our law enforcement journey brought us to where we are currently today. By 1912, though, we had a more secure concrete building that was erected, and the mode of transportation was, of course, the horse. Yeah, you can't put prisoners really on a horse, so. But anyway, from 1912 to 1920, there was no official police department. Chief Hopkins at the time was using his residence to house prisoners. How many of you would do that today? But anyway, the unofficial department consisted of just 4 men. That was it. So the first official police headquarters was located at 979 West Chestnut Street, opposite of Fairway Drive. So basically, if you come off 22, right up Fairway Drive there, right there off to the left, that's where the first official police department was. And by that time, we had transitioned to automobiles and some motorcycles. They didn't go that fast, though, from what I'm told. But on September 14th, 1929, the department went to a 10-hour day and a platoon basis, whereby they had people rotating days, nights, what have you. And that was later changed then to an 8-hour cycle, so providing 24-hour coverage
So from 1930, in 1930, we got our first fingerprinting machine. I don't know what it looked like, but I can imagine it wasn't anything near what we have today. And then in 1931, guess what? The police vehicles, they had sirens and a fire extinguisher. Sorry, Joe. By 1933, then, plainclothesmen or detectives were added to the police department to do investigative work, marking a significant step in our law enforcement's evolution. The Union Police Department occupied the first floor of the John C. Price Building, which was located right down here at 1930 Morris Avenue. In 1929, and then in 1935, a farmhouse at right now what is the police department at 981 Caldwell Avenue became the official police headquarters. So we continued to grow as the years went on. By 1958, we had 2 ambulances with radios, 1 police rescue service truck, 2 detective cars, 1 utility rescue vehicle, and 5 patrol cars. So, and we added 5 motorcycles. So, and our department consisted of 52 officers. 1978, an addition was made to the police department, creating the police department and municipal court. So if you're facing the police department to the left, that was added on in 1958. And then in 1999, our dispatch communication center was added to the second floor of the police department, which now houses our state-of-the-art communications division. So that's where we are today. But throughout our history, our department has remained committed to protecting the community and the residents. From its humble beginnings to its current state-of-the-art facilities, the department has continuously evolved to meet the needs of our residents in the township. As we reflect on this historical journey, let us remember our dedication and hard work of the men and women that served and continue to serve in our department. Their unwavering commitment to our safety and well-being is a testament to the strength and resilience of our community. Thank you all very much.
Senator Cryan, wherever you are, when the trolley was going up and down Union, and if you want to know the details, ask Tom Beisler, but there was a gang who would, as the trolley went along, going very slowly, this gang would jump on the train, rob people, and then jump off the trolley. And I don't know, maybe Barry Cohen could tell us if they ever solved that crime spree. I don't know. Okay. At this time, we were talking about Governor Livingston and living at Liberty Hall. And we have Rachel Goldberg here tonight, who is the executive director of Liberty Hall. And we only have 2 more, so bear with us. The last 2. Rachel?
So nice to see everybody today. I'm so thrilled to be here representing Liberty Hall. As we know, Liberty Hall is the proud home to New Jersey's first elected governor. And yes, please vote for him in the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Woo! It's so exciting. Finally, I don't know why he's not in there yet, but okay. And as mentioned, yes, Martha Washington stayed at Liberty Hall. George did not, though. He was not as lucky. But still a pretty big deal that Martha was there. But Liberty Hall stands to witness, is a silent witness to 250 years of American and New Jersey history. Today we see over 17,000 visitors, 9,000 of which are lovely, lovely school children who are learning about the American Revolution. They are learning about Liberty Hall's role in the American Revolution, as well as the wonderful history of Union. We are excited to continue to share the story of the rich and diverse history of Union, and thanks to BCB Bank for displaying these amazing pictures of Union, sharing our amazing history, and of course the wonderful pictures of Liberty Hall, my favorite. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. I think there's one over there. It's a QR code, and they're spaced around the room. Now that QR code, and I don't know the technology of it, you take a picture of it and you go to the QR code and it pops up and it takes you to a website of Union Historical Society pictures where there's a gentleman over there. Raise your hand, Tom Haggerty. who put all those pictures, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of unions past. So if you want to see some really neat pictures, take a picture of that QR code and go to that site, and you'll be amazed at the number of pictures from unions past. All for free. You don't have to pay anything. And probably, with all these great speakers that we had tonight, probably the most important person is speaking last. She's not only the president of the Union Township Historical Society, but she's my older sister.
I have a little help, so I look younger. Thank you all for being here, and especially thanks to Mike and Marie and Donna. I know they worked a long time to put this event together, and we really appreciate it. There's two interesting events coming up that hopefully many of you will participate in. 1 month from today, April 19th, is the official beginning of the American Revolution. That was when the battles of Lexington and Concord were fought in Massachusetts in 1775, with the shot heard round the world. So Union County is marking that day with a big event at Nomahegan Park starting at 9 a.m. There will be a lot more publicity about it. Be on the lookout for that. It's free. So you're going to see 30-something historical sites from Union County represented there. Definitely we will be there. So we hope to see you there and that you will participate in that event. The other very interesting event is something called Union County Revolutionary Road Trip. This is going to be shown on PBS. The Union Township Historical Society received a grant from the New Jersey Historic Trust, and a young woman named Darley Newman, who does heritage tourism videos. She's been all over the world, and she's already done Morris County, Somerset County, Middlesex County, Passaic County, and now she's doing Union County the week of May 12th. So she's going to start in Elizabethport and show how close it is to Staten Island, where the British and Hessian forces came and invaded. She's going to go to Boxwood Hall in Elizabeth, the Presbyterian Church complex with the cemetery and Snyder Academy, Liberty Hall. She's going to stop at Peterson's for a hot dog, because when you're touring, you need to eat. She's going to come to the Caldwell Parsonage, to Connecticut Farms Church, the Cannonball House in Springfield, the Stagehouse Tavern. She's going to have a bite to eat there. Two Ton Brewery in Springfield, the Drake House in Plainfield, Shady Rest Golf Course. She's going to hit a few golf balls there in Scotch Plains. So this is going to be a wonderful promotion for our county. We're hoping that we will have a screening of it at the Black Box Theater in the new library. So please be on the lookout for that. So great things are coming for the celebration of our country's 250th. Thank you.
I'm sure you're going to hear more about that in the near future. On behalf of Marie and Donna and BCB Bank, thank you so much. Now, there's wine and there's non-alcoholic beverages, and if you can beat me to the back, because I'm here and you're there, there's lots of goodies in the back room. Please go and partake and look at the pictures, ask questions. Tom is over there to ask. Oh, there he is. He's sneaking. No, you can't leave, Tom. If you have any questions about any of the pictures, ask Tom. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming.